Hello, my name is Andra Curtis, and I'm going to talk about living abroad in South Korea. That's me. I grew up in the Coon Valley area, and I currently live in Seoul, South Korea. I live in a one-room studio apartment in a moderately sized complex. The larger apartment complexes have more than 30 floors. And inside the city limits there are parks, but the main city itself is mostly a concrete jungle. Obviously, there are many differences about living in a foreign country. The food, the language, the culture. The biggest challenges that I had when I first arrived in South Korea were language barrier and cultural differences. I like most foods. I'm willing to try new things. However, my favorite Korean foods are japchae, dulcet bibimbap, and samgyeopsal. In general, Asian countries tend to wear masks when a person is sick in order to prevent others from getting their illness. So it wasn't much of a stretch to extend the cultural norm to a government mandate that the population followed. In addition, South Korea in particular is and has been very vigilant about entry quarantining when new people come into the country, and also contact tracing. I try to come back to the States about every 3 years or so, if that's often. I definitely miss the people and actually some local cuisine dishes from time to time. Living in South Korea has definitely changed my perspective of the U.S. because when you live abroad, you get an opportunity to see how another country operates and how the U.S. foreign country relations work from the other side. Yes, I have gained many invaluable cross-cultural experiences and definitely have become especially partial to a noodle dish called kalguksu and spam with eggs. I don't think I ever had spam before I came to Korea, but it's now an easy go-to 5-minute dish. A day in my daily life on weekdays, it's commuting to work via the amazing public transportation system, either a bus or the subway. Then I work until 5 or 6. Before COVID, I would probably go to the gym for an hour or so, grab dinner, and go home. On weekends, depending on the season, I may go out on an adventure to a nearby town, or hiking, or playing a sport. However, life with COVID in 2020 has been hanging out with friends at their house or my house. The draw to work overseas was I always wanted to study the Korean language and culture through complete immersion. I had spent a semester studying abroad in Japan during college, and I knew that the most efficient way to learn a language is just to move there and be completely immersed into the culture and the lifestyle there. I currently work at an international school teaching middle and high school science. I got my current job because my previous job closed as a after effect of COVID, so then I went through some English and Korean recruiting agencies. I took a TESOL course, which taught teaching theory and how to manage classrooms. However, many academies and schools do not require a degree in teaching, just a bachelor's degree from a 4-year university. The maximum number of students I have in a class is usually about 10, and I have 4 classes a day. The Korean school year is actually on a slightly different timetable. They have 2 semesters and then 2 extended breaks between each semester. So the beginning of a school year actually starts mid-March and then runs until about mid-July, and that's called the winter semester. Then there's about a 6-week break, and then the spring semester starts mid-August and goes through mid-December, and then followed again by another 6-week break. Our school curriculum, obviously the largest difference is the base language, so they learn Korean. However, Korean students also learn English, and at my school they're also learning Chinese, so very multilingual. Students start learning English as young as kindergarten, so 4 or 5 years old. It's considered a benefit to be able to speak English fluently, and students will continue to study English all the way until university and even continue through private lessons as adults. Alright, I hope you've learned some new and interesting things about my life here in Seoul. I'm grateful to be part of the Southeast Asian Heritage Month for Macintosh Memorial Library. Shout out. I hope everybody had a great New Year's and best wishes for everyone's continued health.